All right, guys, I want to talk to you today about a topic that you're going to enjoy. It's dying. What are you dying for right now? How are you doing it? Are you doing it the right way? Just want to mention a few things. There's a few ways that we die. Everybody does, right? This is not a sticky conversation because we know that we all do. We all do. But some are unfortunately passing on just to the way they came. So here's the few ways, right? One is you die doing what you love. You always hear about this in legend, somebody who did something great. They accomplished something, they were in some kind of Olympic or scientific feat, and then of course it took everything and that cost their life, which is one way. Some would say a great way. Another way is those who did the same thing, right? They trucked a mantra. They worked for somebody. They just did their part. You see these everywhere. People that held the system together, but for the most part, it wasn't really. They didn't have a great outcome in life, but they were necessary. Good quality, good folks. Another way to die is recklessly. There's those we know who go around passing on, just being ambivalent, just being unnecessary, not doing anything great, but really being a menace. Maybe they even caused additional pain and suffering on their way. Everybody goes a certain way. The worst way, in my opinion, of all of these is dying right there where you're sitting, right there. Just look around, breathe it in. That may, and probably more likely will be, how you pass on. And why is this important? Because everyone, we're here for a breath. We're just barely here. Some make it. Some, the lucky ones, they make it a while. So others are just, barely here for a short time. But while we're here, there's no reason why you're dying a terrible way. I was thinking about this. If you knew next week your time on earth is over, it's a wrap. What would you change? What would be different about how you interact with today? Would you be focused on all the things that aren't working? Are you focused on all the things that are holding you back? Are you going to be focused on all the offenses or those who didn't treat you how you wanted to be treated? What are you going to do with those final, hopefully enjoyable moments? Now, if we're honest, most of us won't spend our time regaling the past. We're not going to spend our time taking out a grudge. We're going to spend our time trying to breathe in those last moments like if they're gold. When the truth of the matter is, it's that now. That is the case already. So if you're not living like tomorrow's your last day, you can imagine that you probably have already passed on. Those people, and maybe that's you, who go through life already passed on. You can always hear when they're talking about their life is so terrible, it's already over, nothing good can come from it. Well, who's talking about this unless somebody's in their own grave already? Well, let that not be your story. Here's the thing. Life is a gift, and they say that. The reality is, life is work. Life is effort. Life is outcomes. In our life, there's some treasures. We have little nuggets of gold, little blessings or gifts. And those gifts are the people that we have in our life, our satchel of people that we're responsible for or that are responsible for a part of their story. Those are the gifts. The ability to do something that benefits the next generation, our future, our legacy, our line, whatever it is that is your role. And a lot of us waste that time wondering how we did in the past, which is quite silly, in my opinion, because you can't go back to that yet. Maybe Elon has something for us, but for now, we can't go back. If you can't go back and you don't know tomorrow isn't the last one, and you've heard this 100 times, but today's the time, I got to tell you, that what are you doing with today that makes tomorrow, if it be the end, that life was even worth doing? And here's a way. I'm not saying go out and build towers and make great infrastructures. I'm saying it's your own life. Are you upset? Are you sad? And are you depressed about something you can't change? It's called the past because it's past tense. Or are you so far in the future that you can't enjoy the moment that you're in? It's not being present. You're just living for what can be. And more than likely, I'll give you some tips. If you are looking to a future that's not seemingly on the way, step by step, almost here, it's more likely never going to be. So don't burn your life out trying to achieve somebody else's goal. I love it when they say, in life, you have your role, you have your part, and you get to have a little bit of enjoyment. You get to live a little, you get to enjoy a little bit of it. But for the most part, it's work. And it's a good work that we do. Stop being afraid of that work. You get most enjoyment from accomplishment, and that accomplishment comes from what did you do to earn it. So when you're dying, and you will be, don't be the one looking back at, man, I almost did what I wanted to do. Look, here's the good news. Even if you go do what you want to do tomorrow and you completely suck at it and you're terrible and it falls apart, they're not going to remember that you didn't do it. They might make fun of how you did it, but that's life, Be ballsy, don't be a coward. And they might even say, wow, you can't believe you actually tried it. You inspired me. Whatever they'll say, whoever they are. Why do they matter? I don't know how they're taking care of you. But what will not be said about you if you didn't try? Well, nothing will be said. They're going to be at a funeral with just a few people going, yeah, he was a good person, all around liked. And for the most part, they won't have a real story to share except for that one time at that one event where you did that one embarrassing thing. That's your big moment. Unfortunate. We got to go through this. Life isn't easy. It's not supposed to be. It can be worth it. And I'm not here to encourage you or motivate you. I'm just here to tell you the truth that time is not on your side. You're running fresh out of time. And how are you about to die? Are you going to die with just the butt cheek stains that you have in that chair right there? Talking about what you wanted to do. Figuring out all the ways that you can't do it and how many ways it won't work. As an inventor, as an entrepreneur, I can tell you that there is a big gap between starting and accomplishing, and that's the fun part. The fun part was where it started and how it progressed and how we got to where we got. And then when you've accomplished it, all right, now what's next? Right, now we need a new thing because the fun part is the journey. The fun part's the middle. Try to enjoy the fun part that's yours. Tomorrow is, if you make it, hopefully you guys see it tomorrow. Some of you, been great. Life was cool. If you make it pleasant. Try to enjoy it. Don't die in the future, worried about what's coming. You can't do anything about what's coming because you don't know. Don't die in the past, worried about what you didn't do and the regrets of the mistakes you made. They're there. You can't erase them. For the most part, nobody even cares that you exist, so you're bound to not be remembered for it. Be in the moment that you're in. Enjoy that moment, but make it worth it. Be productive in your day. What are you doing tomorrow that should the next day come, it's where you want to be. The next day brings you closer to where you want to be, who you want to be. Some of the best advice I got was from a professor at Harvard that told me that he, wanted to make a big business and do all this extra stuff, but he went to the fundamental of dealing with his person and his character, and who he was to the people around him, who he was to his family, his relationships, and so on and so forth. And having that experience, getting himself together in his own habits and daily, it exuded the success that he wanted in the future because habits make us who we are. And that habit of sitting around complaining and worrying about how bad things are is the reason why tomorrow you will still have that job, which is sitting around worrying about how bad things are. I love to say this often, and I hope this resonates, but whenever you're not doing your part, it's a self-solving solution. It solves itself. You won't have that part to do. You're not doing your part, it's going away anyway. If you're not living your life, it's going away anyway. And if you're upset about it, you'll have that work for tomorrow as well. The more energy you spend doing that thing that you say that you hate, that's the thing that you're becoming better at. You're becoming a better worrier. You're becoming a better stressor. And you're becoming a better derelict, and maybe even you're becoming a better version of a worse person. Put some feet forward to tomorrow. And should the next day come, you'll be closer to your goals. Die trying. Die trying, and do not die where you're sitting. I insist, please move your desk over at least 1 inch so that you know for sure that you're not going to at least die where you are now, because that's the worst. See me a bit later. We'll get back with you guys, talking in the comment section about all the things that you think dying, or what are you dying from. And remember, take care of each other and stay focused in this life. You get one chance, then it's up. Be seeing you.